pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Boy, quiet meeting. Oh, here we go. We finally got
should have
somebody.
shut the door.
Somebody finally come.
Too late.
Today is Tuesday, May 7th, 2019. This is the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors. We're at the Mitchell County Courthouse. Before us, we have an agenda.
I would strike number 6 and then approve the agenda with that deletion.
Okay. That's what we shall do then. All in favor of that?
You didn't get a second.
Well,
Second.
okay, I was waiting.
Didn't hear one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have the minutes of April 30th here, and we also have all looked at the claims. Do we
On the
have-
claims roll, again, this time they ran them with just one side of the paper. And I realize somebody's new up there or whatever, but maybe next time if you think
Okay.
that they can
Put them on front and back.
front and back, I mean, might as well save a little.
Save a tree.
Yep. Save some pages.
All righty, Stanley has made that motion with that added. Bart? Roll call. Stan?
Aye.
Barb? And Steve, aye. So the minutes are approved and we can pay the claims. Just give me yours, Stan. County engineer.
Yes, sir.
Update. I'll give you the hot seat.
What do you want to know?
Everything.
Let's not talk
How's your
about gravel.
phone?
Let's not talk about gravel roads because we know what they're like. Project updates, T38 obviously is moving forward. You guys have probably recognized what's happening out there. We're getting some pavement removals done today. I think the contractor's bringing a crane in today to set the plant up in the quarry. I'm gonna guess, well, the weather dependent, I think they're still on schedule for maybe next week late. They might be looking at bringing the paver. And they'll get the plant set up this week and they've got some, they've got to calibrate things and stuff like that. So other than I think that sometime next week, weather dependent, they might be able to start paving. but
When do they do the bridge part?
The
Approaches.
Yeah, the approaches.
they'll try to be, depending how wide they are, they'll pave them as they go, but that'll be in the second phase, because they're coming from the county line south to the plant, then they're gonna pick up and move.
So that'll be a lot.
It'll be, yeah, probably mid-project by the time they get to the bridge.
If weather cooperated, when do you think that would? Just because I have that question.
They think, well, weather cooperating, I think they had said that plan on 6 days of paving. And I'm guessing the first 2 days will be that south end. It's not quite 2 miles from the beginning of project to the plant, but it'll be probably 2 days of paving and we gotta pick up and move, which shouldn't be that big of a deal. We'll set up at the railroad tracks and bring it down. So yeah, if there's issues there, if they need to, is it traffic related? Are they having some issues with trying to?
It's just somebody that lives along there. Well, actually, I had two, and one of them lives along there, but the other one is, works for Renee's Loving Care, and just wondering how long he would have to find different ways to go.
Yeah, well, they'll be able to go depending where they live. If they live north of the quarry,
Yeah, he didn't tell me where.
okay. Well, it'll just be inconvenient for a while. And, hopefully the letters we stuff in the mailbox, and the contractor will be knocking on doors as they go through. But what I'm giving you right now is what I perceive when it happened. I haven't had a chance to talk to the project manager this morning. I just was talking to some of the other guys this morning on the project. So that one's moving along. Kirkwood and Hickory, the surveyors have started. They've begun to put control points out on those roads. I've been trying to contact the landowners, they need to get surveyed beyond the right of way for if we do acquire additional easement, so I've talked to a few landowners along those routes, just tell them, hey, we've got a surveyor coming in, and most of them are all excited to get something going, but I haven't been able to talk to all of them, so if you guys do get phone calls, you can let them know that the surveyors are out there just getting topographical data, and they'll be in the fields, 50 and 75 feet off center line, just to get a topographic shot, and they'll be using a UTV, which is lighter than any farm equipment that's out there, so most of them are satisfied that they're not worried about any compaction or anything like that, because the planter weighs more than a UTV, so. So like I said, I haven't had a chance to talk to a lot of them, I've talked to a few of them, and so those are moving ahead. We do have one new dump truck that showed up last Friday, Thursday, I think it was, and then the other one should show up a couple weeks later.
So you got it on the road then?
No, we gotta get it ready. It's gotta go back up. There's a sensor problem. I think it's a temperature sensor. Every time they stop to get fuel put in it, it's the warning light would come on. I think the heat from the engine was hitting that sensor, and that sensor was malfunctioning. So it runs fine. It's just that we want to get it fixed. I don't know why we gotta put it up there. If it's a sensor, they could come down here, but whatever. It's a warranty thing. So no, it's not on the road yet, but it will be.
Okay.
So the other one will be coming in a couple of weeks. All this rock we've been putting down on the roads is probably gonna be a budget killer. I'm still trying to, with claims and everything, trying to keep an eye on the budget, but I had a quote come in for some bridge deck repairs, some Class A repairs that I can't afford to do right now, so it was about $250,000 worth of bridge deck repairs on about 6 bridges, and they're pretty big bridges. And so with that, with local money, it's not there, so I think I might try to create a maintenance project next fiscal year. I have to amend the budget, but just to get a project going, maybe use some bridge funding instead of local money. So.
Okay.
But I was gonna try to do some, but for example, the bridge over, Trano over the Cedar River there, that one was gonna be about $120,000 just to repair it.
Yeah, it was.
A lot of pockets in it, so it'd be nice to get it done, but
Yeah, it'd be so nice to get started.
We've got
Some of those bridges.
that one, and there's one north of Orchard on the highway there, that's got a lot of them on, and then several on 4 and 30th by Little Cedar there that need some work, one west of McIntyre that needs some work. And you add them all up, and it's just a lot of cash, so.
Okay, I had a farmer had a request that we throw some coal patch in that one.
Well, probably.
By Winters is,
Yeah, we'll have to, just to get by again.
because he said the rebar was showing on it and it was rough. So,
And we'll
keep
get
that in mind.
to them when we get caught up on other things, but yeah, we know we've gotta maintain them.
Okay. Any other comments for Rich?
Well, we're getting some fairly decent holes too in the blacktop by Halverson Park.
Oh, yeah, yep, we've got a lot to do. Our focus has been on gravels right now, but yep, we know we've gotta get that. We gotta get the truck that runs the Durapatcher right now, we're putting suspension parts under, and then Worth County's gonna use that truck right away with the machine, since Mitchell County had it most of last year, so we're gonna get caught up over in Worth County first, and then bring the machine over here. Remember, right, we have the Mitchell County's truck and Worth County's machine, so we're kinda sharing the equipment back and forth, so it's just.
We're getting a good deal.
Yeah, so, and maintenance this year, so I think it's working pretty well. If it gets to be the point where it's not, we'll have to figure out something else, but it's just nice to have the older International automatic to pull that thing around instead of using new trucks, so. So, yeah, there's a lot of patching to do too.
Okay, well, thank you, Rich.
Call me if you need something.
We shall.
I
I know
shall.
the phone's been ringing for me.
It will. Hang in there.
Yes, for all of us.
Yeah. All we need is Mother Nature to get better and things will be better for us.
I wish she would make up her mind what she wants.
Correct. You know, they're talking maybe spits of snow tomorrow.
Now let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yes. Anyways, number 4, approve auditor's quarterly report. And we have that paperwork here in front of us.
no questions, I'll make the motion to accept that.
Second.
Barb has made a motion, Stanley has seconded, roll call, Barb,
Aye.
Stanley,
Aye.
Smollett, aye. So we've approved the auditor's quarterly report. Approved liquor licenses for Sunny Bray Golf and Country Club.
The way some of those people play golf, they need liquor, so.
I'd say Stanley has made a motion then,
Probably why they play that way.
I'll second.
Barb has seconded,
Everything's in order, isn't it? Well,
Correct.
Yeah.
roll call, Stanley,
Aye.
Barb,
Aye.
Smollett, aye. So they'll be able to serve. Approved fireworks permits. We have permits for Don Brion and Jeremy Mostek, and also Flashing Thunder Fireworks. So
Things in order.
I need to have motions.
The one on South Elliott Street, that's right in Mitchell, isn't it?
Jeremy Munstix?
I'm unfamiliar with the streets in Mitchell, I'm sorry.
Maybe you want more detail exactly where it's at?
No, I mean, it would be up to the town of Mitchell to issue a permit in Mitchell. So I really don't think we can approve the one, because it's in, like you say, it's in the city limits of Mitchell. And that would be up to the city council of Mitchell to,
Okay, so we'd be Flashing Thunder Fireworks and then Donald Brion.
yep, those are the only two that I see as
Okay.
rural. I mean,
We'll set to one side, then do we have a motion for these two fireworks
I so
permits?
move for just the two then, Flashing Thunder and.
yeah, and if that is,
Don Brion.
if it isn't in the city, you know, there's plenty of time to bring it back here, so.
Okay,
Yeah,
if I'm not
we find
mistaken.
out.
No, it's May 11th.
Oh, May 11th, huh?
Oh,
You want me to check it for you guys? I can Google it, if you have that.
yeah,
yeah.
300
Great.
South Elliott Street.
Sure.
Or wait a minute,
Thank you.
let me look here a second, I did it wrong. May 18th, sorry.
Well, that's
Don Brand's
still
11th,
pretty
the other
close.
the 18th, so yeah,
Still
it's
pretty
a
close.
Yeah, they'd wanna know,
week from this coming Saturday, so yeah, there's still gonna be time next Tuesday.
but if you can figure it out, it'd be nice to know.
While he's checking that out, we could go on down to number 9, Mobile Mama.
No, we already got a motion in a second.
Oh, so you did?
Yeah, let's vote on it.
Okay, then
Just vote on
Barb,
We
Aye.
could go to
Stanley,
aye, okay.
Smollett, aye. Then we'll go right on to number 8 then. Consideration of selling county items, and these are items that David has acquired from within the courthouse, cabinets,
Well,
some old computer boards and stuff like that. Anyways, we need to get rid of them to make room for David. They have no value for us here anymore, so
okay,
When
Elliott
are they
Street
doing that with the
is,
citywide garage sale?
but it does.
you know, I don't know how or,
The last I heard, that's what they were thinking about doing, is using the citywide.
okay.
Apparently it does sit outside the city limits, so.
So then we want to approve then
All three of them.
all 3 of them. So Mr. Mostek, Jeremy Mostek, he will be approved too, so
I'll still move to approve all 3.
Stanley?
Second.
Okay, roll call, Barb,
Aye.
Stan?
Aye.
Smollett guy, so all 3 have been approved. And now getting back to our selling county items, then they may be sold on the
Yeah, which is,
citywide. But anyways, we have to approve their sales, so,
Just show some direction, or consensus, I don't, it's up to you guys. You want a motion?
Yeah, no, consensus of the board to move forward with, basically,
yes, I agree.
items that are no longer necessary.
and were they giving, staff here first chance or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. No,
That's
we'll
fine.
see. Yeah. We'll just leave it up for
I just
right
heard
now
that
that we will
that
be
was
able to
possible.
sell them and give them a chance to sell or right to sell them. And that's been approved by the board here. Anyways, mobile mom for year 2020 budget request. And I have that here somewhere.
That was for 5,000.
Yeah,
Yes.
that
You
was,
had done a motion on it.
we
You
we
said to
agreed
put
to-
it back on the motion,
We
on
just
the
wanted-
agenda.
we
Make
want
sure it's
to
all legal.
stipulate that it has been agreed to and $5,000 is our amount. So, anyways, then that has been brought up. Items of note,
No, let's vote on it, then, because,
we did vote on it last.
well,
Make sure it's all legal.
yeah.
Okay, I remember Barb, was the first on that. You're,
Guess I don't remember that,
yeah.
or if I was or you were.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, well, I'll so move.
Second.
All in favor, or I should say roll call, Barb,
Aye.
Stanley,
Aye.
and I was nay.
You can change your mind.
No, I still think it's up to the school system. Items of note. Meetings attended. Stanley.
I do not believe I had anything last week.
Okay.
I'll double check here, but. No, I did. I had the second NICOG economic strategy meeting. And that's so that we can get federal money to NICOG for basically to do some housing grants and that type of thing again. And so there was about 15 people, 16 people showed up and a good 2-hour session. And housing was one of the priorities, and of course workforce was another one of the priorities. And maybe in a minute or two, if Tony has an update on what's actually happening with workforce with Jennifer, I'd like to be able to
Yeah.
hear what's happening there.
I can add one thing, NICOG, their newsletter, they had in there, they offered, what was that, for home improvement, I mean, it was for over 62 years of age, that kind of thing, but both Tony and I put it on our websites, Facebook pages, I should
So
say.
that'd
Sure.
be grants available
For 2020, actually,
Okay.
but.
But
And
fiscal
what
year
is the amount?
2020 starts here
yeah, shortly.
shortly,
Oh,
so.
yeah, they'd have to move on it right away.
The amount that they would,
Um,
variable?
I don't think well, they said something about it had to be at least $15,000 worth that you needed to do, is how they worded it.
That's
I
not
don't
very
know
much.
I don't know what they would go up to. And you have to be lower income, they've got several criteria in there. But for somebody, it sounded like a great deal.
Yep, yep, that's what we need. Yeah, we'll move on. Is there any more, Stanley, to your meeting? Okay, I will let Barb have the floor for her
Okay.
meetings.
Substance abuse, we discussed things that we want to continue to promote. Prime for Life in the Schools is one. Safe Ride and Servers Training, we want to continue them. And we are checking into starting something new of taking turns writing a weekly column with the county newspapers on substance abuse. Iowa Workforce Development, they keep me busy. The day before it, I received 44 pages to read before the meeting, and then they presented 4 more at the meeting. Several reports were giving, and I'll just touch on a couple. The career fair was attended by over 750, with around 250 being high school students. They actually had to turn away several high schools. This was a career fair that I told you guys last month that they filled up with employers within 4 hours, and 64 businesses and 50 were on the waiting list. As far as the veterans program, the average vet getting a job through their program is paid $18 plus an hour, which I thought was really good. And let's see, with the state trying to, can't read my writing, change the regions from 16 to 6. We are working hard at trying to repeal it, and the chair of the CEO part of the Iowa Workforce Development, Corey Eberling, he's the supervisor, I think, from Sheffield. He constructed a letter from us to the governor with several of our concerns. The top half of the state and several other of the Iowa regions were also appealing, with over half of them actually appealing this too. And mainly because the CEOs really were given no chance for input with any of the changes. Corey called the governor's office several times with questions, and he was not getting anybody to even answer him back, and he was so frustrated that finally he left a message and said, well, if I don't hear from you, I'll probably have to call the Department of Labor, and he heard from them fast. They were still not able to give him answers, and they gave very conflicting dates for appeal deadlines. He said it was really a mess, very unorganized, and I'll keep you updated. We're encouraged to go to a state meeting on the 30th, and I have a copy of the letter that Corey wrote if anybody wants to read it.
Thank you, Barb. I had one meeting with Valent. It was a short one. They discussed that they are getting the scrubber. It is coming in. It'll be at the end of May. They'll receive it. And the blower, they will get that on the end of June. And, the scrubber is full of media, and that will be used to remove odor. And they also discussed the use of the city pump, which they're going to use to jet a section of their sewer. And one other item that they did discuss was the copper content that's in our sewer system. That Valent is under the copper limit for the state of Iowa, so our over copper limit in the city sewer or the county sewer system, I guess, is coming from somewhere else. So anyways, that's the extent of that meeting that I had. Manure management plan updates, Lowell?
Carpenter North Finisher Farm, 5470 Birch Avenue, Riceville. Garden Finisher Farm, 12338 Garden Avenue, Elma. Osage Egg Company, 3405 Kirkwood Avenue, Osage. And Johnson Brothers, 304 North Washington Street, Carpenter.
Okay,
One question, Steve, you don't happen to know what the city's doing about the copper, do you?
well, they're still trying to figure out who
Where
it
exactly
is.
it's coming
Is
from?
it coming from our leakage?
Okay.
Is it coming from another
They haven't
business?
figured it out.
Or is it coming out of the city, through the city? They're not really
Okay.
sure. They're still trying to figure out who's.
That's the last I heard too, so.
Yeah, but they have not come up with that scenario yet. Anyways, is there any public comments today? Now, did you want Tony to have some time here? Tony, you better get up here and get the hot seat.
We held an informal meeting after the NICOG meeting to discuss the possibilities and where everybody else was at on the proposal by Avance. And there was a lot of verbal support thus far from it, and it's kind of like you all wanted to get together and come up with the price. And I suggested that everyone consider maybe something based on population. And that, of course, would mean that Saragordo County would definitely be picking up a larger share than the rest of us. They were open to it. And some of the other bigger cities with bigger industrial footprint were open to it, is looking at it possibly even from a breakdown of employee base. So we're looking at trying to come up with a fair appropriation method that goes with that. Thus far, it's been fairly positively received, and we hope to have something fairly soon to bring back to y'all as far as the cost. Just the preliminary cost come back, we're hoping maybe to get ours for county our size down to maybe $7,500 as opposed to what it was before. And that would, like Cerro Gordo would be maybe like 3 times that is what they would be paying. So there's some talk of possibly one of the other cities picking up a bigger chunk to maybe take some of the weight off of Cerro Gordo County. But I think ours would probably come around the $7,500 range is what we're looking at right now. So.
Has she gotten any more support from the businesses?
As far as financially, that's one thing we talked about as far as the breakdown would be per county, and then maybe that county level, then we could then look at, say, this is how much the county is willing to put forth, and we need some support from businesses, but each county could then decide how they want to do that. So if we wanted to come in and say, businesses, you know, you need to put some skin in the game in this as well.
I feel like they should.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think that they would be against that. But then that would be up to us at the county level to, you know, we know we need to come up with X amount of dollars from the county, and do we do it? How much do we proportion that out?
Well,
That'd be up to us.
isn't that actually happening now, like with, there's a couple of businesses in the northern part of Mitchell County that's actually recruiting, and they are paying into the system, aren't they?
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, they have privately contracted with her to do that.
That's what I mean, so.
Yeah, and that's why I say they I'm sure would be on board doing it, because it's gonna save them some money. So, you know, I'm sure that they would do some cost share. And I have heard anecdotally that they've had some good success thus far. So I think that there's been some good proof in the pudding that it's been working. So, but like I said, we've been able to get per county costs come down dramatically, trying to match it from a population base. Again, that puts Cerro Gordo way up there, and whether they will accept that or not is still up in the air. But the local economic development people recognize the fact that they need to step up to a certain degree, but how much they can actually get out of it is a little unknown at this point in time. So all you do is ask.
That's about the only way you can do it though, with
It is,
population.
and that's what
That'd be
I-
pretty hard to figure it
That's
any
what I
other
told
way.
him. I said, we're not somewhere in that realm. I said, I wouldn't feel comfortable asking for it. So anyway,
Okay.
so that's where that's at.
Okay, thank you for keeping us informed.
You bet.
Is there any other public comment for this morning?
Well, not public, but.
Stanley, comment?
One of the things that apparently is a reason why people from outside of even Iowa are liking to come to Iowa is because of we are friendly, we are safe. And I've heard a couple of comments that people moved from California here. I mean, they don't like the climate in the wintertime, but they again feel very, very comfortable that, you know, that we visit with people, with strangers and so on and so forth. And this is maybe one of the bigger recruiting tools that we can have. And I would suggest that, you know, signs from prison industry are relatively cheap. And if we could make maybe 1 or 2 signs, something to the effect that we are Mitchell County nice, and you spread them, you know, move them around once in a while and that, and just to give strangers the idea that, hey, take a second look at us, or take a look at us.
I know Tony and I have talked a little bit about that type of thing too. He was trying to come up with some cute ideas, and what was that one I said? I gotta look it up, something about, I'm just blank. I'll have to look it up, but I have an idea for signs for that too.
Yeah, I mean, there's no hurry, but like I say, I'd kinda like to take a look at,
Actually, I have it on my table because, at home, because I wanted to think of more ideas for that. Yeah. I have at least one.
Okay.
your thoughts, Mr. Smalley?
I'll leave you guys to thinking. My brain is blank right now.
Well,
Yeah.
let's work on that a little bit, and like I say, you're only talking $200-300 at the most, I mean, and permanent signs can be moved around in there, so.
Okay. I'll have to discuss that with the county engineer, because that'd be the one that'd have to move them around.
But, I mean, again, we can use our tourism money, because we have to spend
From the hotel
50%
tax?
for tourism, or hotel motel tax, I mean, there has to be 50%, so that's something that we can, doesn't come out of the general fund.
Any other comments? If not, looks like 9 o'clock. Meeting is over. Thank you.